How to use your layer box in Practicad. If you click on the container button in your Practicad ribbon, you'll notice that one of the container types they have is the layer box. Currently, I already have it set on my screen, and there are separate tutorials that teach you how to adjust your containers properly. The layer box is a very simple mechanism to use. There are basically 4 rows with 4 headers on top of them. First, we have the name of the accessory. Layer box is meant for controlling the color, line type, and line weight of all of the accessories in Practicad, from dampers to vanes to acoustic lining. If you are setting up your template for the first time, you will want to make sure that you choose the proper color, line type, and line weight for all of your accessories, and then save your template with those on it, so that every time you open up your template, you've got the proper line types for the proper accessories. For example, here you can see that for acoustic liner, we've got the color by layer, but we have the line type hidden ×2 already selected. And then we've got a line weight, which is basically how we're going to want to plot it later. And there are separate tutorials on that. You can see on my screen currently that the liner is being represented in the hidden ×2 line type. And the reason we see that is because we are in 2D wireframe. Notice that you have to be in 2D wireframe to see this. Actually, to put your screen into 2D wireframe, you want to go to View, and then you want to go into your Visual Styles. And here you can select your 2D wireframe. In my screen, I have a Practicad ACAD custom toolbar. On standard AutoCAD ribbon, it's under the View. So all we would need to do is make sure, if we're first setting our template for the first time, choose all the line types that we want after we've loaded them, and then save our drawing. If we're going to be plotting this drawing later, we're going to want to make sure that we've got the proper accessories checked. For example, you might not want to see the acoustic liner, or you might not want to see your dampers when you plot, or you might not want to see vanes or tie rods, for example. You can see there's tie rods in these fittings. So all you need to do is uncheck the options you don't want to see. For example, we're going to say shut off liner. Shut off the damper. There's a VD or volume damper right here. We're going to shut that off. Shut off the tie rods. Shut off the stiffeners. Close turning vanes. So we can choose what we want to see when we plot and what we see while we're working, because we can continue to work with these layers turned off per se, but they still are there. Even though we shut off a turning vane layer and don't see it, if we click on this elbow and look in the property box, you'll see that for turning vane it says 4-inch vane. So though we don't see it on the drawing, it's still going to download to Practicam. If you happen to be using piping, there will also be a piping section here. There are separate tutorials on piping, but that will conclude how to use the layer box inside Practicad.